I have an entire course on lookup functions that gets into some nitty-gritty details on those things. But let's do a quick overview of the VLOOKUP and the XLOOKUP functions. We'll start with VLOOKUP because this is more common and well known. Here we have a list of item numbers with their item name, item type, and item price. And let's say we wanted to do a lookup here where we could look up an item. Let's do D818, and we want to put in a formula here that will automatically populate the item name, type, and price. So if we start with a VLOOKUP, we'll type equals VLOOKUP, and the lookup value is the item that you want to look up. In this case, we'll select this orange cell here. Press a comma, and the table array is the range of cells that you want to look in. For a VLOOKUP, the first column in your table of cells needs to contain the lookup value. So this item number has to be the first column that we select. And then we'll select our entire table right here, all these columns. Because we're going to pull this formula over, we'll want to hit F4 to lock that reference. The next thing that VLOOKUP needs is the column number that you want to return. So here, item number is column number 1, and item name is column number 2, so we'll type a 2. And finally, the last thing that we need to return here is whether or not we want an approximate match, in which case we'd type true, or an exact match, in which case we would type false. Because we want an exact match, we'll type false right there. And now it's giving us the item name right there. We'll come into this formula and we'll actually lock this cell reference right here so it's always in column F. And then if we pull this formula over, you'll notice that it's still returning the item name. And the reason for that is it's still pulling in the second column. So if we wanted to change that, we could change this 2 to a 3, so it's going to return the item type, which is the third column in our table. And then here we'll change this to a 4. Now when we change the item number to say D122, all of our relevant data items change. Let's pull this down right here and type D122 again. And let's use the XLOOKUP function. The XLOOKUP function is a newer function in Excel and is only available in Excel 2021 or the Microsoft 365 version of Excel. The XLOOKUP function is one of my favorites. It's an improved VLOOKUP function that has a lot more capability and is a lot easier to use. So we'll start by typing equals XLOOKUP. The lookup value is the first item that you need to return. So we'll select F7 there and we'll lock the column. Type a comma, and then the next item is the lookup array, which is the array of cells or the range of cells that you want to find your lookup value in. We'll select column A right there. So we're not selecting a whole table, but we're just selecting the relevant range that we want to find that lookup value in. Press a comma, and the return array is the column that you want to return. So we'll select column B right there because that's our item name. We'll press enter, and that is all you need to do for an XLOOKUP. One advantage to XLOOKUP is that it defaults to an exact match, so we don't have that false at the end like we did with a VLOOKUP. Let's come in here and lock column A as our lookup array. And then one nice thing that we can do with XLOOKUP that we can't do with VLOOKUP is we can pull our formula over and it's going to move those columns because we didn't lock column B, so it turns to column C and column D. Another advantage to XLOOKUP is you can actually return multiple columns with just one formula. So instead of selecting just column B, we can select column B through D here, press enter, and Excel will fill in all of those columns. You'll see this blue outline right here, which indicates that those cells are being populated from a formula in another cell. So here in the formula bar, this is a black text. If you come over here, that text for the formula is kind of grayed out because the formula is actually not in these two cells. So VLOOKUP is more common, like I mentioned, because it's a function that most people had to use before XLOOKUP, but XLOOKUP by far is a better function to use. And again, if you want more information about these functions, watch my course on lookup functions, which also talks about the index and match function combination that you can use to do the same thing.